The iconic round table of The View gleams under the midday sun filtering through ABC's New York studio windows, the air thick with the buzz of an audience primed for unfiltered discourse on this crisp October morning in 2025, where guest host Sharon Osbourne, the sharp-tongued rock matriarch at 73, subbing for a vacationing Joy Behar in a glittering black sequin blouse that screams Ozzy's tour wardrobe, commands the panel alongside Whoopi Goldberg, Sunny Hostin, Sarah Haynes, and Alyssa Farah Griffin. The crowd, a sea of "Sharon's back" and "Royal tea time" signs, erupts as Prince Harry, the 41-year-old Duke of Sussex, enters with his trademark tousled auburn hair and a fitted grey cashmere sweater over chinos, exuding that blend of Windsor polish and California ease. He's here to spotlight his latest Invictus Games initiative, a groundbreaking adaptive sports app for global veterans, Warrior's Edge, developed with Archwell and set to launch on Apple Fitness+. Whoopi rises for a bear hug, Sarah gushes over his everyman charm, and Sunny probes his Montecito life. Archie, 6, now a soccer phenom channeling his dad's polo prowess, Lilibet, 4, her tiny fashionista phase with Meghan's flair. Harry settles in, cracking jokes about his failed attempts at American barbecue. I singed more than I seared, the room dissolving into laughter as clips roll, wounded warriors high-fiving on virtual tracks, Harry's voiceover thundering, edge isn't given, it's earned. Sharon, perched like a perched raven, leans in with a cackle. Harry, love, you've gone from spare air to app wizard. Ozzy would approve, he's all about that edge after 50 years of bats and bells. The segment sings for 15 minutes, Alyssa lauding his mental health advocacy, Sunny sharing her own resilience stories, Harry opening up on therapy's lifeline post Diana, the audience nodding in rapt solidarity. But as the commercial break looms, Sharon's eyes, those piercing blues honed from decades of Ozfest feuds and celebrity Big Brother barbs, narrow with that unapologetic edge. She swirls her coffee mug, voice dripping with Geordie gravel. Darlin', this app's ace, pure heart for the heroes. But let's not sugarcoat, you've bolted the palace, penned that spare scorcher spilling family tea hotter than my husband's Sabbath solos, and now you're peddling pixels while Charles coughs up crowns and William wrangles the firm solo. Isn't this just another Sussex sideswipe, monetizing misery? Or have you finally traded the grudge for growth, or is the victim vibe your victory lap? The studio inhales sharply, a hush descending like a dropped mic, Harry's easy smile congealing into a stiff rictus, his fingers blanching on the armrest as the crowd murmurs ripple into uneasy waves. He pauses, that royal restraint cracking at the seams, retorting with measured Midlands fire, Sharon, growth isn't a gimmick, it's grit. Invictus isn't a swipe, it's salvation for souls scarred like mine was by silence and scrutiny. Spare wasn't misery, it was mercy, sparing my kids the shadows that stalked me. Mock from your memoir miles, but I've forged forward where the firm faltered. Sharon, unfazed, her laugh a lacerating bark, volleys back, mercy. Honey, spare was a spleen vent, eviscerating your own blood for bestseller bucks, Diana spun in her grave, and Charles. He's croaking under the cross you carved. Victim vibe, you're the poster prince of privilege, jetting to Jamaica jabs while we plebs pay the piper. Heal or heal, Harry, but this app feels like another act in the entitlement opera. Gasps cascade. Whoopi's eyebrows arch skyward, Sarah's hand flies to her mouth, Alyssa's poised pen hovers mid-note. Harry's cheeks flush crimson, voice vaulting to velvet venom, entitlement. Try exile, Sharon, chased by hounds you once howled with on the talk. Your opera, quip. Operas for audiences, I've lived the libretto of loss. This isn't act, it's aftermath. Appreciate the chair, but not the chairwoman's cheap shots. The barrage builds, Sharon invoking white boy woes from her Marmite drop days, Harry countering with chase night terror and institutional indifference that ignited his Oprah odyssey. The panel scrambles, Sunny interjecting, let's lift up, Alyssa mediating, both sides breathe, but the die's cast, the air electric with schadenfreude sparks. Abruptly, Harry surges to his 6 feet 2 inches stature, mic cord taut as a bowstring. Sharon, your spotlight spotlighted the shade, I've shared my scars for the soldiers, not your sport. Ladies, God bless the view from here. He unclips with princely precision, strides off amid a thunderclap of mixed applause and stunned silence, stagehands parting like Red Sea extras as Whoopi cuts to break with a booming, whoa, that's the tea that's too hot, stay with us. Backstage bedlam brews. Harry's detail hustles him to a blacked-out Escalade, Meghan's text pinging, proud prince, palace of pancakes awaits, while producers headset hiss into panic mode. X detonates, Hashtag Harry humiliated trends transatlantic in minutes, bootleg bleacher footage racking 15 million views, memes morphing Sharon's smirk to wicked witch cackles over Harry's heel turn. Royal Watchers feast. Piers Morgan preens, Osborne owns the oaf. On his uncensored feed, Omid Scobie seethes, bullying in broad daylight, hashtag Sussex strong. Sharon, smirking into the camera post-pause, quips, well, darlings, that's rockin', roll, raw, real, and royally rattled. This melee, no mere matinee, it's a matriarch's mauling of a monarch in exile, where daytime diva dissects a duke's defenses, etching TV lore in lipstick and legacy. As Gotham's girders gleam golden, one axiom asserts, when Sharon spars with Harry, humiliation isn't hurled, it's harvested, one barbed bon mot at a time. Dusk drapes Manhattan in a bruised purple pall, but the Osborne-Harry inferno on The View flares undimmed, fanning flames across feeds and forums from Fleet Street to Fairfax, where viral vignettes vivisect the verbal vivisection, birthing bedlam that blurs barbs into badges of battlefield bravado overnight. ABC's Green Room is a geopolitical greenhouse, tapes timestamped for triage, Sharon nursing a neat scotch in her sequins, replaying the riposte with a raspy rumble, the lads got gumption, but grudges are gobstoppers, sticky and sour. The post-clash pivot airs with panel poise, Whoopi wielding wisdom like a wand, folks, fire forges truth, Harry's heart's in the right place, Sharon's shots were sharp but sincere. Sunny substantiates with sisterly solidarity, Alyssa analyzes the privilege prism, but Sharon seals it with a shrug, poster boy of posh pity. Call it candid, call it cruel, call it closing the curtain on the cry fest. The raw reel ruptures online via audience apps, 80 million metrics by moonrise, TikTok timelines teasing Harry's huff at 11:52 sync to Sabbaths, Iron Man, riffs, X's hashtag Sharon slays Harry surging with 3.2 million missives morphing her mug to Medusa mid-mic. Harry's homebound on a Gulfstream ghost, ensconced in clouds, unleashing an Archwell advisory that's arsenic ambrosia. Grateful for the view's vigor, Sharon's spice sparked scrutiny, but Invictus endures undented. Warriors edges onward, empathy isn't elective. App downloads detonate 550%, devotees drilling into demos in defiant solidarity, Meghan melting into him at touchdown with a murmured, my edge, my everything, Aussie who. Palace proxies percolate prickles, the Telegraph tattles Charles's, chortle, at the Yankee yarn, Williams whisperers winking, weary of the whinge, but wickedly won. Late-night Leviathan's lunge, Jimmy Fallon fakes a royal roast reset, with Sharon as guest gorgon, quipping, Harry fled faster than from Frogmore, Sharon's the real Black Sabbath, as Colbert counters with crown-cracking confetti cannons. The View's viewership vaults 52%, execs eyeing, guest host gambits, spin-offs, while Archwell activates, Edge Against Entitlement, a gratis guide to gaslighting guardians, alchemizing affront to Arsenal. Sharon's syndicate surges, DMs dispatched. Her, stung the spare. Sorry not sorry, fancy a follow-up feud. His, appreciated the audition, Sharon, let's app the amends. Ripples ravage realms. Vet orgs ovate the optics boost for adaptive aids, feminist feeds frame it as, matron versus monarch, misogyny unmasked, conservative conclaves crow, carping Californian curbed, bravo, bird lady. Paparazzi pummel Penn Station for her post-show strut, but decoys deflect the dazzle, Sharon sashaying to a Soho supper with Ozzy orbiting, babe, I body slammed a blue blood, Black Sabbath's got nothing on this. By breakfast, the Sussex strategy synthesizes a swift Spotify surge, teaser track, Edge of Exile, echoing the exchange, from view to victory, unbowed. Sharon, schmoozing at a serious satellite sesh, soliloquizes to scribes, he's air with a hair trigger, humbled him, humanized me. The cacophony coalesces. Reddit rants rehash, Osborne's oracle or overkill, viral vines vine the volley to villainous Verdi swells. Beneath the brouhaha, a bedrock bursts, this wasn't wanton whack but a window to wounded worlds, where a broad's broadside bolsters a broadcaster's bite. No necks nicked, but narratives neck and neck, Sharon's shtick supersized as Savon, Harry's heroism hewn in the heat. As Equinox embers the East River, the aftershock affirms, when divas duel dukes, discourse detonates deeper, and the demos. Devotees of the dust-up distilled into dynamite digest. This tempest, not teacup, tidal torrent, transfiguring taunt into testament. Tune the telly, the Telegraph's teeming with tempests untold. Equinox eclipses to All Hallows hush, and the Osborne-Harry odyssey ossifies into an opus of outreach and onward orbits, ossifying outrage into opulent opportunity that orients op-eds from Oprah's oracle to Osborne's outhouse across the Anglophone axis. Harry, Haloed in Montecito's mist, marshals the Warrior's Edge worldwide webinar, luminaries like Bear Grylls toasting his tenacity. From View Viper to Victor Vanguard, you turn toxin to torque. Downloads Dwarf Dreams, Apple anointing it, app of the autumn, with a sequel solicited stitching Sharon's shade into resilience reels. Sharon, sovereign of her salon, spotlights a Spare the Rod segment on her serious siren song, revisiting the ruckus with roundtable revelry. Her opener orating humbled the air. Hell yes, but hats off to Harry's heart, the lad's got Sabbath soul. Listenership leaps to lunar levels, Grammy gossips gushing at the raw rock realness, as she hatches a humanitarian helix, co-chairing an Invictus investor soiree, her gravelly gravitas grounding the gala. Palace partitions part palpably, Camilla's column in The Spectator coos, clashes catalyze crowns, couriering cryptic Yule yarns, Williams Windsor webinar winks at fraternal friction fuels fortitude. X's xylem exudes #Harry Sharon harmony, 5.8 million missives melding montages of mock mergers, fanfictions fusing their feud into feel-good fables. Primetime peers partake, Graham Norton nods a nuanced, nightcap, skit, eliciting Emmy echoes. Wider winds wax, Westminster workshops weave, dialogue doctrines, from the dust up, drawing on Harry's app for moderation mandates, U.S. Union's usher, empathy embeds, in entertainment ethics. Archwell's guide tallies terabytes in takedown tutorials, downloads. Doubling as demagogues dwindle, Harry Hayes's hillsides, Sharon's salvo. Spur to the spirit, sharpened the sword. Sharon, sauntering Sunset Strip, soliloquizes to stylists, batted the blue blood, brought back the bite of broadcasting's brass. Juridical jetsam jettisoned, no litanies, just LinkedIn laudations. As Samhain's shadows stretch, the Sussexes summon a solstice symposium, Sharon spanning the 7 seas for sips and sparring, crooning mid-cocktail, Prince, next tussles over tour tales, not tiara trauma. Guffaws gild the gloaming golden. The altercation, alchemized to artifact, abstracting animosity into actionable ether. Harry's horizon, heroic, hustler honed, humanity heightened. Sharon's, savage yet sagacious, siren sanctified in the spotlight's sieve. In this incantation of infighting to infusion, the quintessence quickens, live TV's lightning rod, where wrangles waltz into wisdom's waltz, and, humiliated, kindles, humbled to heroic. No scepters splintered, but spheres spun toward synergy. So salute the salvos that symphony into sagas, to spotlights that summon shared sagacity. Prince Harry's Osbourne ousting, not ousting, but oracle, opulent, oratorical, and orbiting onward. And if diurnal drama delights your dawn, devour this, the dialogues deepened, the denouement divine.